Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I rise to speak about the 2025 year of action. Madam Speaker, less than 6 months ago, the CLP was elected with an overwhelming majority, with a total of 17 members here in Parliament. Madam Speaker, the year ahead is very important to us. It's a year of action, certainty and scrutiny as we continue to deliver on our commitment of reducing crime, rebuilding the economy and restoring our territory lifestyle. What I want to do is go through some of the priorities in my portfolios, and first up I want to talk about local government reform, Madam Speaker, and moving ahead for 2025. We are backing our bush communities with local government reform. The CLP is committed to restoring control of communities to Aboriginal people and strengthening service delivery. This is the control that was taken away from communities, Madam Speaker, in 2008 by the Labor government. There was two key issues back in around that time, Madam Speaker. In 2005, the Labor government scrapped the Law and Justice strategy in the Northern Territory without notice, disempowering people in communities in 2005. To top that off and to make things worse for people living out bush, they took away control and disempowered people in communities by removing community government councils. Madam Speaker, we are working with Aboriginal people to empower communities that want a greater say, fostering self-determination. This will enable them to have a more active role in community development and decision-making processes. It will not be a one-size-fits-all approach, and we won't make changes without community engagement and consultation. This is action we have already started to decisively take. Madam Speaker, just last year on the 18th of October, in response to strong community feedback, I postponed the election for the Groote Eylandt Regional Council until the 15th of March 2025. The residents of the Groote Archipelago region spoke to our government and we listened, having worked with Aboriginal people to empower the community to have a greater say, and we've provided 3 wards that will reflect what the community wants. An opportunity overlooked by Labor, an opportunity to engage with people in that community, Madam Speaker. The reason we postponed, because Labor wanted to go ahead and set up a council without engaging with the people on the Groote Archipelago. An absolute disgrace. Another highlight that the former Labor government failed to consult, failed to engage with people on the Groote Archipelago. And I know why the Leader of the Opposition is upset, Madam Speaker, because that's her local electorate over there, and clearly she had no influence over the local government minister. They couldn't even get that right from the start. So we're fixing it, Madam Speaker. We're getting out there. We've spoken to people on Groote. We're fixing that. And a 3-ward system has been introduced, and there will be an election on the 15th of March, despite the opposition of Labor, despite them failing to set up the council properly on Groote. We're moving ahead, we're working with the people, we're delivering. We consulted widely across the archipelago and the community, who overwhelmingly voiced a desire for that ward structure to ensure all communities in the Groote Archipelago region were represented in local governance, including residents in the smaller communities, including Bickerton. We know how important the local government sector is in providing services to communities and being a mechanism for communities to engage and have their voices heard on what matters most to them. The priorities of communities are the priorities of our government. Under the Super Shire model introduced in 2008, we know a lot of community members expressed that they lost close connection that they used to have with their council. The impact of that loss resulted in a level of disempowerment, including the ability to problem solve and address issues that are directly impacting individuals and their communities. We are changing that. The CLP government is changing that. Legislative changes to the Local Government Act will commence in the first 6 months of 2025. Our reform is practical, deliverable and in line with community aspirations, something that Labor failed to adhere to. Madam Speaker, as we move on to alcohol policy, our government will have an effective banned drinker register. We want to ensure through review that the banned drinker register is able to consider and effectively contribute to reducing crime. We have already introduced better police powers to tackle public drinking in non-exempt areas, including the 7-day banned drinking order. Madam Speaker, for nearly 2.5 years under Labor, no charges were laid against individuals supplying alcohol to those listed on the banned drinkers register or subject to alcohol bans through court orders or under bail or parole conditions. In fact, as of the 31st of December 2024, there were 4,003 persons on the BDR. A police ban was the most common reason for being on the BDR, accounting for 58% of all banned persons. Unlike Labor, who focus only on supply, we are focused on driving down demand for alcohol, with direct investments in community drug and alcohol services, including compulsory alcohol treatment and rehabilitation options for those who continue to cause alcohol-related harm to others. Our commitment to tackling demand, not just supply, is what sets us apart, ensuring a brighter future for all Territorians. On the other side, Madam Speaker, as the member for Gwajar said yesterday, prohibition will never work. It's just sad that his other Labor colleagues haven't leaned towards that either. Our approach to alcohol and drug treatment will be vastly different. We will tackle alcohol-related harm that is increasingly rising in emergency wards with stronger laws and rehabilitation. Alcohol management plans. We will roll out more effective alcohol management plans for communities across the Northern Territory. This is the work that was recommended in the Riley report back in October 2017 that Labor failed to do. Labor failed to roll out the alcohol management plans before the cessation of Stronger Futures in July 2022. A clear recommendation of the Riley report, but we're getting on with delivering that, Madam Speaker. To date, 81 communities have received alcohol management plan information. 78 communities are actively engaged in community alcohol management planning. 28 community action plans have been approved at the community level. 10 community action plans have been submitted to liquor licensing with a general restricted area application. One of our key focus this year, Madam Speaker, and I'm sure the members on this side, we are serious about tackling antisocial behaviour in social housing and public housing. Madam Speaker, from the 1st of July 2024 to 31 December 24, there were 5,060 reports of antisocial behaviour across the NT, of which 1,181 were substantiated, an increase of 844 reports and 451 substantiations when compared to the same reporting period. Madam Speaker, we are looking at legislative and policy changes to make tenants responsible and accountable for their behaviour in public housing. We want the community to be safe and secure so they can go about their business on a daily basis. Madam Speaker, when it comes to health, we are reviewing our patient transport services through a detailed and comprehensive review. Aged care, when it comes to aged care, Madam Speaker, we will work with the federal government to increase aged care facilities to help free up hospital beds in the Territory. The availability of residential aged care places in the Territory and the impact of aged care-related discharge delays put significant pressure on the Northern Territory health system. Increasing aged care facilities will improve the wait times for Territorians on much-needed surgeries. Madam Speaker, we are partnering with the Australian Government to develop a new residential aged care facility. A functional design brief for a 120-bed facility in the Holtz development area has been completed with a cost estimate of around about $120 million. Madam Speaker, one of the other areas that I'll be focusing on is Indigenous essential services. Over the years, we have seen many opportunities to deliver services in remote Aboriginal communities. It's important that we get the Indigenous essential services system right. This is an opportunity to ensure that we have water, sewerage and electricity, not only in the remote communities, but to improve those services in homelands right across the Northern Territory. Madam Speaker, less than 6 months ago, Territorians made the right decision, and we will not let them down. We will improve alcohol management, we will improve tenancy management, and we're looking forward to 2025 and full of hope and optimism. In 2025, you'll see us delivering action, certainty and security for all Territorians.